You're on. You got it. Don't mess it up.
Okay. All right, real quick. Let's go through number 1, okay? And I'm going to actually read this out loud, and this is a skill that I want you guys to use on the test tomorrow, okay? So I'm going to read. Can I borrow yours? Okay. So on number 1, it says, simplify the following expression. Be sure to combine like terms if necessary, okay? What is something that you should circle on there in that question? What should you circle in that question? Combine like terms, okay? A lot of what I've been noticing on your guys' test is that you automatically just go to the question and you don't read what you need to do. And that's where a lot of questions are happening, okay? So, circle combine like terms. Okay, if it's circle and it's combine like terms, we're going to use combine like terms, right? Well, we have 2 parentheses. And I know a lot of you are like, well, I need to distribute because there's 2 parentheses. But you got to remember from the beginning, before we did any distributing or anything like that, the nice thing is right here in the center is a positive, right? Okay, so it's a nice, easy automatic. We just need to multiply 1 to each parentheses, okay? So we're just going to multiply this 1 to each side to get rid of those parentheses. Do we kind of remember that from the beginning of the semester? A little bit, kind of, sort of. Now it's kind of getting the cobwebs out, okay? And we're going to distribute out that 1. Really what that is doing is you're canceling out those parentheses. So all you have to do is just rewrite x cubed plus 6x squared minus 1. And again, same with this other parentheses as well. Plus 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus, this is a long problem, 3x minus 1. Okay. If you have a correct, you can. It's great practice, but it won't. You don't necessarily need to for test corrections. So right now, if you are working on that one, okay, I want you to combine like terms. Can someone tell me what combine like terms is?
It's like combining terms that have something in common.
Have something in common. So if it's something in common, what are some like terms that are in common for this one?
6x.
All right, x squared, good. Okay. Negative 4x squared, good. What's another one? I heard it. Cubed, good. The cubes, right? Negative 1 and negative 1, they're constants. Remember that when we learned that? Mr. Serp, are we going to have constants in our problems for tomorrow?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, whatever.
It's something.
Okay, oh, that's not, oh, I don't know if I like that highlighter. Okay, and then, oh, I don't. Nope, I don't like that. Sorry, that's not a pretty color. Okay. So, highlighter. Actually, another, I'm just going to circle it because it's all by itself. It's so lonely. Okay. So, if I were to rewrite this, okay, what would I start with? What is my highest degree?
3 cubed.
3 cubed, okay? Okay, I got 3 cubed here, 3 cubed here. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Combine like terms. So what is my new answer going to be?
Negative 3x squared.
Ooh,
Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one.
Positive 3x to the third.
good. Because this is an invisible 1. So 1 plus 3, whoa, Morgan, dyslexia. 1 plus 2 is 3. And then the nice thing is you use that cubed. Okay, you just bring over the cube. I like to cross things out because we're done with those. We don't need to worry about them. All right? My next degree, if we go from 2 and we're decreasing, if we're going from cube degree and we're going down, what is my next degree? what is my next degree that I'm going to write? If we're going from highest degree to lowest. X squared. Okay, so my x squared. Ooh, what's 6 minus 4?
2.
2.
Yeah.
That's all good. And you bring that x squared. Okay. Now, my next one, all by its little self, it's just going to come down here because it's lonely. There's no one to pair it with. Sad. But then here's the thing. We got two constants, -1 and -1. -2, good. Okay. So now, since I went through number 1, and if you did struggle with number 1, I want you guys to take a couple moments to write down, why did you get it wrong? What could be the reason you got confused with that? Okay, so take a moment and write that down. Now, if you get number, Stirrup, do you want to do number 2, or do we want to give them some time to do number 2?
No, let's jump on it.
Okay, so
Are you gonna do it? Or you want
I could do number 2.
Okay.
So real quick, before I move on to number 2, if you do need to work on number 2 because you got number 2 wrong, I want you to look at it and think, okay, what did I do wrong? What could be the reason why I got that wrong? Okay, so for number 2, take a look at it. Kind of think, okay, what did I do wrong? What do I need to fix? Okay, and start writing down those comments. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes.
I realized that.
Just no, we want to continue this recording.
That's what I did.
Okay, well, obviously you didn't. Number 2. There you go. Don't forget to distribute it.
Yeah. So like Miss Stone totally messed up on the last problem. What is one thing that I need to be careful with this problem?
Signs.
Signs. Gotta be careful with that, Miss Stone. Lordy be.
Tricky.
Is that what you got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So for number 2, what is the main difference between 2 and 1? What's the main difference? So this is 1. This is 2. This has a negative in between, right? Those dang negatives. Okay. Are we still going to distribute that 1 first just to get rid of those parentheses? Yeah. Yeah, right? Because we just want to cancel them out. Okay. So we're going to multiply that 1, but here's the thing. What type of 1 is this one going to be? A negative. Okay. So I'm going to multiply out my 1s. That's going to get rid of my parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite. And make sure you write it correctly, Miss Stone. And that could also happen with you guys too. Like you could be doing the same process correct, and you could do a simple errors like I did first for the first problem. I wrote down negative 3x instead of positive 3x. Okay, so if you're like me, I'm a fast, like I do it really fast. Maybe taking the time to go back and look and see, just go through the math one more time, take 5 minutes at the end of the test to go through your problems and see, okay, did I do this too quickly? Okay, so if I'm going to use this -1, what's -1 times 3x squared? What am I going to get?
It's -3x squared.
-3x squared, good. Okay, now I'm going to distribute this -1 to -5x. What's -1 times -5x? Positive 5x, good. And then we're going to look at the 6. Negative times positive is a -6. Beautiful. Okay. Again, we're going to combine like terms, okay? Which is going to be that squared and then -3 squared. That's our highest degree, right? So do we write that first or last? First. So we're going to write that first. But here's the thing. What's 9 minus 3? It's 9. 6? Positive or negative? Okay. Cancel those out. Then we got our x's. Okay. What's -8x plus 5x? -3x. Good. Cross those out. And then 3 minus 6. -3. Beautiful. Okay. Good. So since we did a couple problems, one is really looking at that positive one, okay? This one is looking at our negative. Is 3 and 4 different? Yes, they're a little bit different. They're more on the distribute property, okay?
Do you want me to take the next two?
Sure, I'm going to give them a couple seconds. So for number 3 and 4, if you got 3 and 4 wrong, I want you to look at them real quick. Okay, what did you get wrong? Did you distribute right? Did you use the correct negative sign? And if you're finding out that you don't have anything written down, so you can't see what you did, maybe that's something you work on for tomorrow. Writing down your steps, so then when you do check, you know what you got wrong, okay? Okay. So just take a moment and look at number 3 and 4. What are some things that you could have fixed? What are some things you made an error on?
I just pushed it. It was a good push.
Did you do an X? Use 3X. 9X. Good X. And then, what would you have? Just a simple sentence like, I didn't see the signs. Oh, great, perfect. Okay, yes. Yeah, so it would just be X because Y. You're taking out that X, but what's happening in this one? Yep. But it's good that you're seeing it now, right? All right, so, and then whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Okay, problem number 3. Big old distributive property, right? So numbers get multiplied together, but exponents get what? When we're multiplying bases, what happens to the exponents? Add them, good. So multiply here, 12. Add the exponents, 12, x to the 5th. That's 2 plus 3. Multiply here, negative 24. That's supposed to be an exponent, sorry. Yeah, you know. And then 6 times 4 is positive 24x. Hey, this x right here is raised to the first power, so it's x to the what? Third. All right, Taha. You get a right one. Feel comfortable? Don't worry, I'll explain it out loud while you write it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Should I explain it?
We're gonna go back one. Hang on. Yeah.
All right.
Get it?
I got this one right.
My eyes are like goofy on me then.
Which one we're at? Is that 20?
24. I'll let her make sure I get to that point back. It's a full point, not a half point. My friend, you ready? You know how to
Yep.
find the arrow to this way? There you go.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so this one is double distribute. Agree?
Yes.
So x times 3x is x times 3x is
X times 3x is x 3x to raise the second power.
there you go, 3x to the second. Okay, so that was the first one. Okay, then the outside ones. 4 times x is positive 4x. Inside, negative 3 times 3x is negative 9x. And then negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Now, some of you left your answer like this. Friends, these are like terms. They have the same exponent, same letter. So 4 minus 9 is negative 5. So you have 3x squared is the first part of the answer. Nothing happened to that. Minus 5x minus 12. Cool. That's a 12, right?
Yep.
Cool. I kind of like your writing. Do it again. If you feel comfortable.
Yeah, sure.
Only if you feel comfortable.
Sure.
Gary, it's okay if you go back for a quick second to do the writing things, but he's better at writing this than I am.
Me too.
So again, that's why on the test, I sent you guys circle combine like terms, okay? The question will tell you how to answer. That's what a lot of you had a tougher time with, okay?
We ready for number 5? Okay. Hey, this one we're not multiplying. We're not excuse me, sorry. We're not multiplying, are we?
No.
What are we doing? We're unmultiplying. Unmultiplying is called dividing or factoring. Yay! Good job, Morgan. All right. So, what number goes into 3 and 6? I know 1 goes into it, but what else? 3. 2 doesn't go into 3. Okay, so bring a 3 out front. And then this has x squared, which is xx. This has x, which is a single x. So a single x comes out. If I factor a 3x out of 3xx, I have a 1x or just an x. Good. Plus 2. Giddy up.
So another error that I noticed too is, so how I think of it, like when I'm doing factoring, if I know for a fact I'm taking an x out here, right? Here's that x. What's x? What's 2 minus 1? Just 1, right? So if I'm going from 2, like x's, because remember when we first divided x times
Number
x?
6.
If I'm taking one of those away, right? 2 minus 1 is just going to leave me with just that 1, okay? And then if I have an x here, well, they're leaving the house. They're moving out. They're moving over here. They're not going to be in the house or in the parentheses, right? So then I'm not going to have that x again, okay? So again, it's those little details you got to be really careful about. Okay?
All right. This is not a factor, or this is a factoring one, not a multiplying one. So what's the largest number that goes into 12 and 8? 6 does not go into 8.
Oh,
4. 4 is correct. So 4 comes out front. Hey, this is x, 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 and this is x, x. So how many x's come out? If I have x, 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 and I have x, x, how many come out? 2. So that becomes 4x squared. Parentheses. Friends. Oh, close, close, close. Don't put that x yet. You can flip over the pencil, and it'll erase just like a normal.
Oh, that's fun.
All right. 4 times what number gives me 12? 3. And then how many x's are left? Just x. Minus?
2.
Done. That's it.
Also, another trick too, if you really struggle with multiples, if you could do this for me, on the side, can you write 12 for me real quick? And then a line. So just like how we do our factoring, we have 1 and 12, 2 and 6. If you need to physically write down the multiples of that, because I'm hearing, well, 8 goes into, what, like, for example, like when we have 3 and everyone's like, well, 2 goes into that. There's no 2, right? So if you need to write down your multiples on the side, it may take a little longer on the test, but then that way you know, okay, if I have 12 and then I have my 8 multiples here, which ones are common? You can circle them together. And you're like, okay, great, I can use that. Okay, if you're struggling with understanding that a 2 can go into a 12 and an 8, same with a 4, okay? So if you need to write that out, that's totally fine. It may take you a little longer, but that can help with the multiples.
Ready?
Okay?
Click that. Perfect. Okay. I'm actually going to do this one. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay.
Not that I don't trust you. I just want to make sure we stay consistent on how we've been doing it, which you've been doing all right, but I just want to make sure. All right. Hey, friends, this is a factoring problem. There's a 1 there. I didn't see a lot of you putting the 1 there. You're like, just do it, and then all of a sudden you see it get like, this, and you're like, what is that? Like, dude, it's an X. Okay. Ready? Negative 14. Agree? Questions I ask. What if I multiply two numbers together, in order to get a negative, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. And we can go through and list the factors. 1 times 14 gives us 14. Will 1 and 14, one being positive, one being negative, add up to negative 5? No. So move on. 2 and 7 work. Okay? 2 and 7 are definitely going to work. Which one has to be the positive number? Which one has to be the negative number? So when I add 2 and 7 together, I get a negative 5. Good. Negative 7 and positive 2. It does not matter which order you're going to plug this in, but this is going to replace this. Okay? So I'm going to x squared minus 7x plus 2x minus 14. Look at my first two terms. I have x squared and 7x. What comes out? Comes out on the first.
What do they both have?
X. If I factor an x out of x squared, what do I have left? If I factor an x out of 7x, I have what left? There you go. Middle sign comes down. What do I have in common between 2x and 14? 2. And I have an x minus 7. Now, friends, you could have double-checked all these problems. You could have won x times x is x squared, x times negative 7, negative 7x, 2 times x, 2x, 2 times negative 7, negative 14. If you got something different, made a mistake. Okay, these are the same. Agree? What goes in my second set of parentheses then?
X plus 2.
Giddy up. Did you have your negatives flipped?
Oh, because I don't have any negatives in my problem. Does that make it 0 for the whole?
Yeah, I marked it wrong because I knew I was giving you half the points back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. On the test, it's gonna probably our point system is gonna be just a little different than how it's on this test. Like it probably is gonna be how it was typically. We just knew we were gonna do some test corrections with you guys, so we kind of graded a bit harsh.
I went boom, 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 boom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, if I did -2 plus 7, would it mean?
That's wrong. That's the wrong answer. If you add a negative 2, so watch this. So you're saying this. Don't write this down. Just watch. If I multiply this back together, this gives me x squared plus 7x minus 2x minus 14, which gives me an answer of x squared plus 5x minus 14. So if you flip-flop them, that middle term is going to be wrong. The outsides might still be right, but
And that's why signs are so important.
can I move forward?
You want to take off?
Oh, it's looking at my.
So you can tie your shoe.
Nah, I should be all right. All right, ready? 1 out front. Yes? 12 times 1 is? 12. And it's a positive 12. So we guarantee when we get a number, when we multiply two numbers together, if it's positive, I know it's positive, positive, and or negative, negative. What is it going to be on this one? They're both negative. And the reason they're both negative is I have a negative 7 right there. Okay? All right. So I can list my factors. 1 and 12. If I had those both being negative added together, that gives me a negative 13. That's not negative 7. 2 times 6 gives me 12. Those are both negative, and I combine them together. That gives me negative 8. Negative 8 and negative 7 aren't the same. They're close, but they're not the same. Then 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is going to work. Negative 3x, negative 4x, x squared, whatever order you want. And then underline. What do I have in common between those first two? Good. X. And then I'm left with x minus 3. Middle sign comes down. Means I'm factoring a negative out. If I factor, what can I factor out of 4x and 12? 3 doesn't go into 4, though. 4. Good. I have to change the sign because I took this negative out. Okay? Those are the same. Love it. X minus 3, x minus 4.
If you need a write a little note too, that if you're inside parentheses, after you hit that first combining are not the same, that means something went wrong somewhere, okay? That should be your first indication before you get to the two parentheses at the bottom, okay? So if you need to star that, write a note on that, write all over that, because you can write that on your take-home test, right?
Yeah.
Okay? That is due tomorrow that you can use for your test tomorrow.
All right. We kind of have to hustle because I want to make sure this is all there, and I want to make sure I work all the half points back. Can we saddle up and ride? This is a special one. This is the difference of two squares. This is a perfect square because x times x is x squared. This is a perfect square because 8 times 8 is 64. What about 2 and 32? 2 and 32 does indeed give me 64, but 8 times 8 is the same. So you're going to put two sets of parentheses. X times x is x squared. 8 times 8 is 64. What do we need to make sure one sign is?
Plus and minus.
Plus and a minus. Good. Done. Okay, now, if you wanted to do this our other way, you could indeed throw a 0x in there and then do it the way we were doing it. It's still going to work out, okay? But difference of two squares works. Number 10, I confused a couple people on. So, friends, I have two terms. What comes out of those two terms? What number goes into 4 and 2? 2. I have xxx and I have xx. How many x's come out? If I factor 2x squared out of 4x to the third, I'm left with 2x. If I factor 2x squared out of 2x squared, what do I have to leave as a placeholder? Good. Middle sign comes down. What number can I factor out of both? 6 and 3. 3. Factor 3 out of 6x, I'm left with 2x. Factor a 3 out of, bless you, out of 3, I have to have a placeholder of 1. Hey, friends, are those the same? Now, some of you who saw the pattern got it.
So if you need to write a note, if you see 4 terms, just factor them out. Okay?
And we do have the video on that purple take-home. Does everyone have that take-home test that we gave you yesterday? Did anyone miss yesterday and I forgot about you? I didn't mean to forget about
If
you.
you don't have it, you need to get it today, okay? Because you can use that tomorrow.
Yeah, the whole video is online. You're going to hand that back in to me. Number 11. Multiply those, I get negative 12. Agree? What are the signs guaranteed if it's a negative number? Positive and negative. So 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Those are all the ways I can get to 12. Which of those would get me a 1 right there? 3 and 4. Which one has to be positive to give me a positive 1? Yeah, if you flip-flopped it, that actually would make that a negative 1x, and we want a positive. I'm going to replace this with here. And again, I could have had minus 3x plus 4x. It's still going to work the same way. It still factors the same way. I know it seems strange, but it will. Those first two terms, what do I have in common between it? A number and a letter. What do you think? 2x. Left with? Good. Middle sign always does what? What do I have in common between those? Signs will change because I factored a negative out. You can always go and double check. Is negative 3 times x negative 3x? Yeah. Is negative 3 times positive 2 negative 6? Uh-huh. Those are the same. Done. Okay. Hey, could my answer be 2x minus 3 and x plus 2 as well? Could this answer also be the same? Uh-huh.
As long as your negatives are in the correct place, your positives are correct.
So this is also being recorded, so this might be reinforcing you as well if you're trying to work on studying for the test. My friends, could I move forward? Anyone need more time?
Is it okay if we we hit zero product, because I think that's where a lot of people, especially.
Tiempo?
if that's okay.
Anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I lost it. All right. Let me just hit this one quickly. That's positive 18. Both signs positive or both signs negative? Good. Everything's positive in the problem, so it's already positive. 1 and 18, 2 and 9. Can I stop there? Because 2 and 9, so positive 2x, positive 9x. That's going to squeeze in right there. Whatever order I want, just make sure you keep the signs the same. What do I have in common between the first two? The middle sign always does what? What do I have in common there? Those are the same. Done. All right. So for the last problems, I'm going to have them already factored out, but there was one more step that takes place on the last problems. Are you ready? So I'm already going to factor out. We've already done all the factoring. So this one would have factored down to this. Okay? But it's equal to 0. So these are equal to 0. So you break it apart. Minus 8, minus 8. Minus 2, minus 2. There's my two answers.
And also, if you go back in the directions too, again, it's that reading piece. Factor each equation that uses the zero product property to solve. Okay, so when you hear zero product property, you're gonna have your answers equal to 0. That's your first indication that you're gonna be using 0. Sorry, sir, I went too slow.
All right, is this one equal to 0? No, I need to make it equal to 0. Sorry, we didn't give them homework tonight, so we didn't have to give them time. I mean, other than to do other stuff. This one would have factored to x minus 9 and x minus 5. They are equal to 0. If you see an equal sign, that means you are solving it. If you don't see an equal sign, it means you're factoring it. Add 9 to both sides. Add 5 to both sides.
Because what's the opposite? Because what's the opposite of -5? Add, right?
You do the opposite of those signs.
Okay.
Ready? We got time. We don't have to let people go at 59. I'm not letting people go. I mean, we've got to let it go a minute early. You now owe me a minute. All right. Friends, this one, I only have two terms. So I'm going to say I have a 3 and an x in common. So that gives me x plus 3. So then I'm going to take 3x, set it equal to 0, divide by 3, x equals 0. That's the first answer. X plus 3 equals 0. Subtract 3 from both sides. Those cancel. X equals -3. All right. I need